I've got a wonderful guest with me today, H.K. Edgerton of Asheville. H.K. loves to tell the true story of American history and African American history, and particularly that time frame where we have the American Civil War. H.K., thank you for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you on this television program.
Well, it's certainly a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for having me here, Howard.
Well, now you have walked a long ways for the Confederate history. Tell me about the time that you walked all the way from Asheville to Austin, Texas, carrying that Confederate flag.
It was one of the most glorious things I ever did in my life. 20 miles a day, 6 days a week, carrying the Christian cross of St. Andrew. All along the way, we were met with people, black, white, red, who were so very proud of their heritage and came out to bring us donations and food and stories that they told about their ancestors and their families. Walked right down the Civil Rights Highway from Montgomery right into Selma, the same highway that Martin Luther King and Hosea Williams and those men came up in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Met some very interesting people on that highway. Ran into a man by the name of Lorenzo White, whose family Dr. Martin Luther King had stayed with. And he came out there that morning for a great big basket of food, 3 pretty $100 bills, and he said that my father would have been awful proud of you, as well as I know that Dr. Martin Luther King would have, because you're living the dream. And it's about time.
Yeah, and somebody,
you know, world travelers like Thoreau came through here.
Yes.
Solomon the Rothschild,
yes,
he came through here, and they looked around the Southland of America and they said, my Lord, this thing is not like what these folks write about. Well, of course, most of the people writing were folks from the North. We came through the South and we see black folks and white folks stop and talk to each other on the street, ask about each other's families. They don't do that in the North. And I asked Mr. Young, who I love very dearly, especially for his courage to stand up when he was ambassador to the United Nations and talk to Arafat. And I asked him, what did Dr. Martin Luther King have to say about that flag and the attack on it? He said to me, Dr. King had been asked many, many times by his lower lieutenants like Jesse Jackson to attack the flag. And he said, no. Let us do something about the things that we can do something about. Our babies standing on the corner with their pants hanging down, can't read, can't write, dealing drugs, killing out their own communities. That's what we need to do things about. If you attack that flag, that dream that I had, one day the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners sitting down at the table of brotherhood, you may as well take your chair and slide it up under the table because there'll be no dialogue. He went on to say that you could not get to that dream when one day the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners could sit down at that table of brotherhood. If you attack the Christian cross of St. Andrew, it belongs to all of us Southerners.
That's right.